whole show.
There's just one place to get our lowest payment on the new 2025 Acura RDX, $399 a month. It's the Season of Performance event at Acura of Pembroke Pines, #1 in the USA.
Hi, this is Jeff Welt from Welton Rayom. Dan and I have been in business together for over 22 years. We're not your typical lawyers. When Dan's not working in the office, he's flying his stunt plane. When I'm not in the office, I'm either getting tattooed, bowling, riding a motorcycle, or going to concerts. We might not be your typical attorneys, but we are aggressive attorneys, and we'll do whatever it takes to get you what you deserve. Consultations are always free. Call us anytime, 24/7.
Welton Rayom can help.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Oh, great. You got a doorbell camera. Now you got a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
No.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
Get out of my house!
Ooh, Mom's jewelry. There goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, a free doorbell camera.
Free?
One that'll actually work for you. It's not total security unless it's the Sloman Shield. Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
The lost city of Atlantis reveals its secrets at Toyota of Hollywood. Get legendary deals on over 2,000 Toyotas, like a 2024 Corolla, not $24,000, $20,988. Unlock the wonders of 0% financing for 5 full years, 0 down. Rediscover Atlantis at Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
It starts every morning before the sun comes up. Projects are laid out. Plans are made. Equipment is fueled and loaded with inventory to handle all service requests. Orders are given to an army of skilled landscape maintenance professionals, certified arbor trimmers, irrigation technicians, and licensed pest management experts who fan out to communities and businesses all over South Florida. Experienced, on time, and dependable. Our staff is fully trained, licensed, and insured. Contact us by phone, email, social media, or through our website to answer all your landscape questions. We are Cutter's Edge. Total Landscape Solutions.
There's just one place to get our lowest payment on the new 2025 Acura Integra, $289 a month. It's the Season of Performance event at Acura of Pembroke Pines, #1 in the USA.
After 40 years, the Big Cheese Miami is still producing great Italian food. They started in 1984. Since then, they've been winning awards while being voted the best inexpensive Italian restaurant in Miami. Visit them for great food, amazing service. Witness the decades of Cane's memories. The walls are like a Miami Hurricanes Hall of Fame. The Big Cheese delivers anything on its menu or party platter menu to your home, office, or even a park for a picnic. Located at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue, Miami. Call 305-662-6855. TheBigCheeseMiami.com, where they serve large portions at family prices.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
Hi, this is Jeff Welt from Welt and Rayom. I'd like to wish you a happy holiday season and a healthy and prosperous new year from your favorite lawyers at Welt and Rayom.
There's just one place to get our lowest payment on the new 2024 Acura ZDX, $299 a month. It's the Season of Performance event at Acura of Pembroke Pines, #1 in the USA.
If you're looking to take your home or business to the next level, then RM Contractors and Custom Drywall can assist you. RM specializes in new residential turnkey, new commercial turnkey, home and office remodeling. Call them for free estimates. Serving all of South Florida, licensed and insured. Call Ray or Mike, 305-345-3649. You work hard to create the perfect atmosphere. You dream it, we'll build it. RM Contractors and Custom Drywall, 305-345-3649 or Instagram at RMC Fisher Island.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. The game is final. Tua and the boys are in the locker room. Let's go over what happened in this game in our Dolphins post-game show with Big O. The post-game show is brought to you by Welton Rayom, Acura of Pembroke Pines, Hialeah Park Casino, Toyota of Hollywood, RM Contractors. The stats are final. The insiders are ready. The platform is mastered by the one and only Sean Stanley. Now, let's find out what the Big O thinks about this matchup as we start our Dolphins post-game show. Here's Big O.
And it's 34 years and nothing's changed. The Dolphins don't win in any kind of these moments. And, we told you the pregame show, go with the Texans, lay the points. I don't know why it went to 2.5. It was at 3 for the last couple of days. Why some money, stupid money, came in on the Dolphins and lowered it to 2.5, I don't know, but it was a gift. And so, why would the Dolphins win this game? You know what I'm saying? This is what they do. They do this kind of shit, And it's, to me, look, for some of you now, I guess the season is over now officially. I don't know, some of you, the season was over when they lost to the Colts. You're not going to win with this coach. You play jump ball with Oompa Loompas. Tua played like shit today. He got a guy almost killed in Grant Dubose. He threw an interception at the end when you can't throw that interception. The first interception was clearly on Tyreek because the head coach told you at halftime it was basically on Tyreek Hill. When he was quoted as saying, well, when people are supposed, people have to be where they're supposed to be and all that kind of stuff.
We're doing some good things, but we need to make it more consistent. We need to stop having self-inflicted wounds, and we need to take care of the ball that's all eligibles. When people are depending on people to be a certain place, they need to be there, and we need to take advantage of our great defensive effort thus far.
Listen. I've been at this for a long time, dude. This has been the Dolphins. They get a great offensive effort, and then the defense is terrible. And then the few times the defense will show up, the offense disappears. And then the coach and his team, think about this, okay? All right. Tua played like crap, right? He had some nice throws, the one to Jonnu in the end zone. He did some good things, but that interception, unacceptable, and he got Grant killed, okay? All right, so didn't play well. All right, fine. But this is a team, and again, here's where we're going to go in two different directions now, okay? Because I told you cannot count on Tyreek Hill. So think about all the key moments in today's game.
All right? Think about him. Okay? First of all, he's supposed to run a more shallow route. He would have been in front of the safety on the first interception, right? So you've got Tyreek involved doing something stupid, and it turns into an interception. All right? Then you've got Tua having to throw a jump ball to another midget, okay, which now you've got to be perfect. The midget kind of had the ball in his hands, intercepted. Bad throw. Bad throw. It was just impossible. And then you have the other interception, okay, with Tyreek involved that it was on the inside, terrible throw. Okay, and that's on Tua. So you've got all three ways that you know how to screw up a game. One, the receiver, you can't count on him to run the right route, and he does this all the time. He does it in practice because I've seen it in practice myself. He's done it in games several times. Today it cost you an interception. Then you've got the quarterback making a stupid throw that ends up in an interception. Then you've got the coach calling a fade pattern with a midget receiver. You just scored a touchdown with Jonnu Smith in the back of the end zone stretching out because he had more range and the DB's right behind him, right? But you go and do a sideline jump ball with a midget receiver. So your turnover, it's badly designed because your coach puts the wrong receiver in there, makes it impossible for the quarterback to complete it. Then the second interception, the quarterback makes a stupid mistake, throws a terrible pass, gets intercepted. In the first interception, you've got a wide receiver that doesn't run the right route, and that's why the ball is thrown under because he is over. It just shows you how poorly constructed Mike McDaniel's offense is, how poorly constructed its run, how it sets people up for failure. I mean, mismanagement of his timeouts, mismanagement of getting plays in, not winning challenges, doing stupid shit like you see today out on the field. This is all year. This is 3 years of this. Jalen Wright, dude. Where is Jalen Wright? What did Jalen Wright do? This is just, it's just over and over and over. So to me, it's just all we're doing is repeating ourselves. This is not an environment that will create winning because your coach is not good enough. And because he's not good enough, your team will not play with structure. Your team will not play with discipline. Your players will not play with discipline. Think about this. The fact that you allowed Julian Hill to still be on an active roster is literally a crime. It's literally a crime. The fact that Tanner Connor has stolen money for the last couple of years, now that is criminal. I mean, there are just things that go on in Mike McDaniel's world that make absolutely no sense. And so I'm used to watching, oh my God, the defense actually gave a great effort, and there goes the offense shitting the bed. You put out together a drive, and there's Jason Sanders and the holder screwing up the extra point. It's just, this is the Dolphins. This is who they are. That's why I didn't pick them to win this game. Why would I pick them to win okay, so Houston's better. They've got the better offensive line. They've got the better defense. They've got the better running game. Well, I mean, they've got the better the better head coach by miles. D'Amico is 100 times better than Mike. Everything is better about them. I'll still take Tua over CJ, but everything about the Houston Texans is better. don't know what to tell you. I don't even know why anybody would pick the Dolphins to win that game. I don't even know why the Dolphins were only a 2.5 to 3 point underdog in this game. It made no sense to me. All week long, I kept looking at that number going, that number just doesn't look good. Like, how does that make any sense? How are the Dolphins getting that kind of respect? I get it, CJ's not playing well and all that kind of crap, but the Dolphins are the Dolphins. Made no sense to me. So I am not surprised what I saw today. I'm not surprised with the results. I'm not surprised with the screw-ups of this team. I told you there was no reason to guarantee Tyreek Hill money. And so many of you that are going to be complaining about it, you're a whole bunch of hypocrites. Because now you're picking on everything, and Tyreek Hill is one of your main problems on this team. He has no discipline off the field in his life. And what would make you think he would have that kind of discipline on the field for your football team? But again, in Mike McDaniel's world, you can be a CFU all you want, dude. All you want. In Mike McDaniel's world, being a CFU means you belong on his football team. No doubt about it. If you're a constant F-up, that's what CFU, for those of you that might be new or something, CFU, like certain players on this team, Tyreek Hill is a CFU. Constant F-up. Julian Hill, constant F-up. There are certain players. Eichenberg, constant F-up. There are just certain players on the team, and you just wonder and you scratch your head, and you're like, what's going on here? And on Mike McDaniel's team, it's all right to be a CFU. And no, it makes sense to put your entire game. Think about all the plays today. The biggest 0 plays all involve Tyreek Hill. All of them. Why? Because you're so Tyreek-centric. And you're not a good enough coach to get everyone else involved. I don't really understand that. When Tyreek Hill is attracting double teams, that should open it up for you as a coach. When Tyreek and Waddle, and I know Waddle got injured today, so he wasn't on the field after that, but when Tyreek and Waddle are constantly attracting so much attention, why is it you're not getting more people involved? Isn't that what good coaches do? Except for, of course, Mike McDaniel. In Mike McDaniel's world, once they stop his main guys, they stop everybody because he just doesn't know how to do anything else. And in Mike McDaniel's world, jump balls are good with midget receivers because that's what constant F-ups do. Because that's what Mike McDaniel is. He's a constant F-up on the sidelines. Oh, jump ball time? Oh, yeah, no, let's go. Who's the next Oompa Loompa up? Let's go. Who's the shortest guy? I don't get that one, man. I really don't understand that. And as a Dolphins fan, I have a long history of watching players that actually had like height and could go up and get the football, and there's a history there. Tight ends, wide receivers, and then I'm looking here and I'm going, well, what are we doing here, bro? Why is everybody out there short? That makes it harder on your quarterback. Bigger targets are better for your quarterback. Mike Gesicki was here, and why use his vertical skills? Who needs verticality? Yeah, nobody needs that stuff now. And so what are we talking about today? We're going to be talking about the same shit that's been happening for 40 years, by the way. No matter who's the quarterback, no matter who's the coach, no matter who's the front office, no matter what, this has been going on for 40 years. Okay? They all fold pretty much in big moments. They rarely beat good teams. They never really go into any deep runs into the playoffs. That really never happens anymore. That's 30 plus years that you had a flukish one. That's about it. So, it just, I don't know what to tell you. But I do know this. Mike McDaniel is coming back. And for those of you that didn't catch the pregame show, if Mike McDaniel and Chris Greer and company are all coming back, okay, because this is what's going to happen. They're all coming back. The only thing I've said, okay, since you're going to be stuck with this coach on the way back, well, then make Frank Smith the offensive coordinator next year. And Mike McDaniel should just handle being the relationships guy and work on everything going on the roster up and down while the game's going on, and let someone else run the offense. That's about the only. I don't even know if it's a light at the end of the tunnel, because I have no idea if Frank Smith can even get it done. But for those of you, trade to fire Greer, fire McDaniel, none of that's going to happen. So I don't know what to tell you. You know what I mean? Those kind of conversations are a waste of time until they actually really make a change. And from everything I'm hearing, there is no changes to be made this offseason. They're actually going to definitely come back with Mike McDaniel next year. And I'm not a Mike McDaniel guy. As you all know, I have no problems with Tua today. Tua fucked up today. Okay? He didn't have a good game today. I don't blame him for the first interception. But the last two, well, that third one, that was a Hail Mary, if anything. There was no real guarantees in that one to complete that pass. But overall, he didn't play a good game today. And the entire team, I can go through all kinds of stuff that constantly go on, because that's what it is. Oh, man. All right, Sean, let me remember Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. And you can make a Bitcoin or Ethereum donation, which we all love that, on Cash App or Venmo, and use the QR codes. And you can also make a donation through PayPal. You can send in your questions, comments, insults, and all that good stuff also on Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. Peter German, thank you, sir. At this point, bench Tua and get the best draft picks you can with a different GM and coach. Okay, none of that's going to happen, so we move on, but thank you. Appreciate it. Adam Pinkser, unlike the Dolphins teams of the past 25 years, this one had talent. Should be better than 16. It should be easily 5-6 wins on this team. That's what's so frustrating. How do you come into a game? You have to win and play so sloppy. Shula turning over in his grave because Mike McDaniel is not worth it as a coach. Hateful Steve, I don't know why I'm donating. I took nothing but abuse before this game, and Tua made all of you look like fools. I'm still here on the Tua trash train, and it will always have plenty of room for new members. So Steve, Hateful Steve, still trashing Tua. Anthony Lizzie, I let them do it again to me. Another letdown. CFU's at it again. McDaniel never out schemes in big games. Crossman failed again. Hill doesn't make big plays at the end. O-line, absolute garbage. Time to blow it up. But there'll be no blow up. There'll be no changes in the personnel department. There'll be no changes at head coach. Okay? Oh, and there'll be no changes at quarterback. So I get it. You can complain. And, maybe somebody will, go along with you and all that. I would love to see McDaniel gone, but I'm not even going to start talking about Vrabel or Darren Rizzi or anything like that I would rather see, because it's not worth it. It's a waste of time. So we're stuck. We're stuck like Chuck. And those are the facts. And with McDaniel, I don't know how you sell the fan base next year. I don't know how you call season ticket holders and ask them for money by telling them that you're bringing back Mike McDaniel. And a lot of them are going to say the front office and Tua. Okay? Because everybody's got an opinion on that. True Fin fan, complete choke job. Everyone must go. I guess a lot of you won't be buying tickets next year or something, I guess, or you're leaving the team. You're not going to watch next year because they're not going to make any of those changes. Brian Nobles, thank you, sir, for the love on Cash App. Very nice of you, sir. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's see. Let's go to the Super Chats. Sean? What time is it? It's burn to a time. Well, that's what they're going to do. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Big time. Thank you for the Super Chat. Very nice of you. Tell you what, at least the top team in the league is kicking ass. And that's Bitcoin. Mateo Dulio, bums a bunch of overpaid prima donnas, don't you sees? Thank you, Mateo. Next up, Manny J. Snow, mediocre performance from a mediocre team that is run by mediocre people, forever mediocre. That's the Miami Dolphin experience for decades. Not years, decades. Decades. Okay? Second half of Shula till now, soft-ass team that always gets pushed around, that always loses big games, that never makes deep runs, that rarely beats good teams. It's the same franchise over and over and over again. Next up. It is no doubt another lost season confirmed. No hopium today. Well, if you would have followed me, stayed with me on the Colts, you would have been prepared for this already, and you would have been over this already. Season was over a long time ago. This team was never going to get out of it. Jason Patrick, thank you, sir, for the love and the super chat. Very kind of you. This game was the cherry on top, an indictment on Greer, McDaniel, and Tua all in one. Shitty line construction, bad play calling, and terrible throws. So, obviously, he and I are going to disagree on the front office and Tua. But they're the ones that got the coach. So, again, you all have something to stand on there. And if that's the way you want to look at it, that's fine by me. I have zero issues. I think you can easily win with this quarterback. I just think you got a moron that doesn't know how to win. Next up. It is Corso Traven. Can't wait to see how you try to spin the loss for Tua and Greer. Block me if you want. Defend Tua all along. Enough is enough. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. I can't defend him today, but I'm not going to blame him for everything that's going on with this team. They got a lot of issues, and he's in the middle of a ton of crap, just like that last play. You want to play jump ball with a midget. That just sets everyone up for failure. Tua, Tyreek, the team, the fan base, everybody. Stupid call. Makes no sense. We've watched it fail over and over and over again, and you continue to run the same crap with the same player. And by the way, the fact that you're also counting on Tyreek everywhere is pretty sad. But again, there's a lot of you that aren't complaining enough about what Tyreek's involvement. You know why? Because a lot of you wanted him re-signed. A lot of you wanted him to get that guaranteed money. In fact, most of you wanted Tyreek to get that guaranteed money. But you don't mention it. Like, I get it. You want to pick on Tua? He deserves it. You want to pick on McDaniel? He deserves it. You want to pick on Greer? He deserves it. The season, they deserve all the heat. I don't see the Tyreek mention. I just don't see that. And I just explained to you all three turnovers had to do with three different people. The last turnover has to do with McDaniel. You set everybody up for failure by calling that play. The second one, terrible freaking throw by Tua. Are you kidding me? That was a stupid-ass throw by Tua. The first one, Tyreek runs the wrong route. This shows you the dysfunction all the way through. And by the way, if you don't have a running game and then you put it all on Tua, that's also a really tough position to be in. And he was playing against a really good defense. Oh, man. It's sad. It's sad that we all have to go through this over and over and over and over again. And then to know that there is going to be no changes, it's kind of demoralizing for next season. Next up, it is the great fear. Correction to Manny's post, incompetent performance by an incompetent team run by incompetent people. They used to be mediocre. They just suck now. The record says it all. The results say it all. Everyone deserves to get ripped. And there's no defense of anything. The front office, there's no defense of the head coach. There's no defense of practically most players on the team. Sealer, maybe, there's only a couple guys that Calais Campbell or whatever, all that kind of stuff. There's a couple people that you can say were impeccable this year, but outside of that, yeah. Tua included. Tua effed up this season. And by the way, Tua added insult to injury again after talking all that shit about, I left my guys on alert. The dumbass throws himself head first into two, and he took a brutal shot to the side, dude. I get it. I don't understand his thing that he needs to prove he's some tough guy or something. Dude, I know you're tough. You came back from a hip injury. You're also stupid. After everything, it doesn't matter. And by the way, on the interception, did you see he let up chasing? Like he finally picked up, yeah. You know what? Let me stop chasing and trying to make a tackle. Like, what are you doing, bro? See, here's where all of you Tua haters get all your flowers today. If you still had any choice or any doubts whatsoever, the Dolphins have to get the best quarterback that exists on the planet in the offseason. They have to have a guy that is practically a starter on the team next year. Why? Tua is not trustworthy. How sad is that, dude? Tua is so blinded, so ignorant in the middle of a game that he refuses to use any common sense whatsoever. When he dove head first, which now makes him a legal tackler that you can take shots at him, when you slide, at least they've got to pull up and you're still at risk at a dirty shot. But at least if you slide, you have a chance to protect yourself. Once you dive head first, bro, it's open season. And those guys, there was already a couple of examples that they were trying to take his ass out if they had a chance. And to their credit, they did a really nice Malachi crunch on his ass for diving head first. But that dive right there, if you haven't figured it out in the front office, ownership, head coach, all of that, you can't have like a half-ass backup anymore. You can't have like a solid backup. No. You need to have practically a starter back there. So the best available vet, overpay and bring them. You have no choice. You're going to have to lose out in other places. It's your fault. Now you've got to deal with it because you gave this guy all that money and he has rewarded you by screwing you over constantly. That's the only way to put it. You know why? It's how he wants to play. So whether it sounds wrong on my part, right? Because it sounds like, well, hey, dude, like that's kind of cruel. You're blaming. Yeah, I am blaming him. He has chosen to play this way. And not only that, Tua has chosen now to constantly lie to you about it. He just flat out lied, bro. I mean, a flat out fucking lie. Tua, you're full of shit, dude. You don't feel bad about leaving your boys hanging out to dry. You're trying to dive in a game that, bro, your season's over. And you're playing like it's the Super Bowl. You slide and live for the next play in the next series. You didn't make it too damn bad, bro. The last thing you need is to destroy your hip or shoulder or another concussion or something, but you put yourself at risk again to do it because you don't give a shit. So please don't lie to your fan base. Please don't lie to your owner, the guy signs your checks. Please don't lie to your coaches and your teammates. Okay? Oh, I feel bad about hanging them out to dry. And then you do this shit this week, dude. Like, I can't defend that. I can defend Tua the passer, and I think I'm convinced I can win a Super Bowl with Tua the passer. But if you're going to put Tua in this position and now his ass thinks, oh my God, I got to do whatever it takes to win, you're fucked. Sorry for the language, but you are so screwed because that's not who he is. He wants to play like Josh Allen, and he doesn't have the body to do that. He wants to hang on to the ball back there like Ben Roethlisberger now, and he doesn't have the body to do that. And he can't go running around because he doesn't have the Lamar legs. And he doesn't understand that he has to play like Drew Brees did, like Dan Marino did. All those guys, they slid. They weren't diving head first. None of them tackled people. None of them took on tacklers. None of them. They weren't interested, and nobody said anything to Marino or Drew Brees, or you don't need Greasy chasing somebody down, bro. You don't need that shit. Okay? Nobody needed Montana to take on tacklers. We don't need it. But he refuses that. And then on top of that, he lies about it. He lies about it. He needs to be told that he's a liar now. He's a liar. He does not care about his body. In turn, he doesn't care if he misses time. He doesn't care about his team, doesn't care about the fan base. By the way, family. Out of everything, you got a beautiful wife and kids, and brother, you're going to end up like a vegetable? Is that what you want to do, playing like that? That's not good, bro. That's not good. Go see who Jim McMahon is. Jim McMahon played like a linebacker at quarterback. Go see how he lives his life now. And you know, I don't know what it is, if it's in his DNA, if he's got like a crazy ass family that they all played like wackadoos to the end and all whatever. I don't know what it is, but you can't take the crazy out of the guy. And what he did today was unforgivable. Unforgivable that this is the part that I don't know if ownership and the front office have the balls, because that's where I would sit down with him and his agent and say, if I'm the owner, they're lucky I don't own the team, my brother. Oh my God, they're lucky I don't own the team, because I'd call both of those guys in my office and I'd walk in and I'd look at both of them and I'd scream, what the F? Explain to me your stupidity, because I'm paying you a shitload of money and you keep doing stupid shit to put yourself in the hospital. Tell me, because that's not going to help me win a Super Bowl. I would, if I was, this is where like you miss, you know, like a Steinbrenner moment there. This is where you miss an owner that is willing to like say some shit, because somebody needs to rattle his cage. Nobody reaches to him. Nobody. And by the way, there should be no more breaks, and I'm Mr. Tua. There should be no more breaks for Tua anymore. He refuses to use any common sense. Refuses. He has chosen to be irresponsible. So you have zero hope with Tua. You know that now, right? That I can tell you as a Tua guy, there is zero hope with Tua now. He should change the 1 to a 0 now. Why? He's just a time bomb, dude. If he's going to play like that, he's got no future. He's done. It's only a matter of time. It's over. It's over for him. I'm just going to have to watch that hand crawl and do all that shit again. That's not fun, dude. I'm not having fun doing that. That's not what I want to watch. Sorry. It's not what I want to watch. It's not fun. But that's what I'm going to end up watching, because that's how he plays. He plays that he will end up like this. That dive, you end up like this. I don't get it. I really have no clue where Tua is coming from. Because, see, here's the thing. Don't tell me about, he's a competitor. Kiss my ass, dude. I watch Marino. Marino knew he wasn't going to make a tackle. He wasn't going to take on tacklers. He was going to go down. He wasn't going to fight anything. And he would be really mad. Really mad if he screwed. When Marino threw interceptions, which, by the way, just in case, he actually threw interceptions that were his fault, by the way. And he would be pissed at himself. Fine. Great. Then he threw interceptions that were other people's fault. And he was pissed. Fine. Great. Competitor. There's no, I got to go chase this guy down and tackle him. Oh, no, I got to take on 3 tacklers because we're behind by 3 touchdowns or 2 touchdowns. No, dude, if he didn't do it with his arm, he wasn't going to do it. Neither was Montana, neither was Greasy, neither was Breeze, and he refuses to play that. That's why I cannot, by any way, shape, and form, give Tua a break on this. This isn't something that he can't turn off. I've watched the most competitive people in the world turn it off. Nobody's going to tell me that anybody is more competitive than Dan Marino. But Dan Marino knew his limitations. I'm not an athlete. I'm going to slide a foot or two this way. I'm just going to try to buy myself that extra half a second to get the throw off or throw it away. And he lived with that. And so did Drew Brees, and he refuses. He refuses to play in his limitations. And if a player refuses to play within their limitations, then they are putting the team and themselves at risk. Whether you're Jameis Winston and you've got to maybe be more of a check down Charlie because you kind of lose it in second and third level windows. So all of a sudden you're throwing interceptions. Well, then you need to dumb it down a little bit as a player and play within your, if you're Alec Ingold, you don't necessarily want to run a stretch play all the way to the outside. You're not going to get there. You're not turning the corner. In fact, you will never even get to the corner because you're Alec Ingold. You got to know your limitations, what you can and cannot do. And Tua Tagovailoa refuses to know his physical limitations. And because of that, he is now constantly putting himself and his team at risk. That dive today proves it every single time right there. That dive. And by the way, a couple times when he was in the pocket where he just, he took a sack at the beginning of the game. The first sack, it's on him. He just ran out of bounds. You ran out of bounds, dude. That means you had plenty of time to throw it away. You're way out of the pocket, the tackle pocket, and the out of bounds. That means you passed the hash, and then you went all the way to the sideline, and you still hung onto the ball. Stupid. Yeah, you lost a yard, and you gave up a sack, but stupid. Why? Because you're trying to play hero ball, and you're lost in the moment. And then you lose what you fundamentally have to do in that moment. Throw the goddamn ball away, bro. Throw the goddamn ball away. So you lose the moment. Let me dive. No! So you have no future with Tua Tagovailoa. That's proven already over and 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 over again. He will not learn how to play the game the right way. He refuses to take care of his body. So you now have to have a drafted quarterback that's ready to take his job because he will not last. It's over for him. Now, it's just a matter of either you move on and you replace him in a couple of years, or you're forced to replace him because he knocked himself out already. One or the other is coming. Sorry to be brutally honest about it, but it's his fault, not mine. I'm not the one playing like an absolute maniac and doing stupid shit out there, throwing my body around like if I'm like some big tough guy. I'm Cam Newton or some shit. That's how he plays. He plays like he's Cam Newton. Cam Newton can throw his body forward and punish people. Josh Allen can throw his body forward and punish people. Tua Tagovailoa folds up like an accordion to DeVar Hamlin. A 190-pound defensive back soaking wet. If you didn't learn your lesson that your ass folds with DeMar Hamlin and you still do this. So please, bro, don't fill me up with a bunch of bullshit that, I left my team in a lurch and this and that. And then here you go. Push comes to shove. Basically in a meaningless season. Okay. Because you still needed to run the table and then you need a whole bunch of help. I mean, that's the loser shit that we've been involved with as Dolphin fans for 40 years now. That we're constantly looking at what other teams are doing to try to save our asses. That's who we are as Dolphin fans. That's pathetic. Next up, Sean. Tua sharded in Houston. I like that. Tuna Tua played like rotten fish. He was small again in the big game. No need to minimize. He played like shit and cost us a game. Well, that's not true. Defense did enough to win. 12 points by the offense, and McD can't get wide receivers involved is a huge problem. All right. Thank you. Appreciate you. Lenny the Locksmith. The coach has to go. We can't beat no team. Well, we haven't been able to beat a team over 500 for 40 years. The Dolphins mostly lose to good teams and beat shitty teams. That's always been them for 40 years under Shula all the way through. The back end of Shula till now, it's the same team, dude. Same team. They got bitch slapped in the 90s by the Bills, and they get bitch slapped now by the Bills. Same team, dude. Same team. It doesn't really matter. Doesn't matter if it's Jimmy Johnson going to the playoffs and getting embarrassed. Doesn't matter if it's Wani getting embarrassed. Whatever, man. No, none of it changes. Go ahead. Elizer, DLC, DeBoe's injury is, oh God, yes. That was a Tanny kill moment from Tua Tagovailoa. That was, for those of you that didn't live the Tanny kill era, that's what Ryan used to do to our receivers all the time and tight ends. Hell, he ended the career of one tight end. Another one, he broke his ribs in the corner. It's just Tannehill had that gift, but Tua stunk it out today, dude. Didn't play well today. Didn't play well. He had a couple of nice throws, but did not play well overall. Yeah, and he screwed that kid up badly. And he knows it. There was a part that caught him on video where he went, damn. Like, he knew it. He knew it was his fault. Because he's trying to, he had to time it between the two guys, and he did. But it's just, it was too close, and he shouldn't have done it because he hung out his receiver to dry. You know. Next up. Jose. Achan, how much more of this? Oh, Acere. How much more of this? Brother, Jose, they're bringing him back next year. So if you think you're only getting 4 more games, no, dog, you're getting an entire season more of this. Another season of this. Next up. Ozzie Fisher, what a difference a year makes. Last year, we're talking to Vegas and Tommy Rockers. Now we've all realized our coach is Simple Jack. Please fire Simple Jack and trade it. Well, again, none of that will happen. And Ozzie, you were probably one of the ones that wanted Tyreek Hill you wanted him to give him the money. Now you gave him the money. You're stuck with him through next season. And then the season after, you'll be able to release him. There's no trade. Nobody wants him. Nobody's going to trade for him. Nobody's going to take on that salary. Nobody's going to take on that headache. They see all the screw-ups on the field and off the field. Nobody's taking Tyreek Hill. Okay? So that you can forget about it, my brother. Next up. Let's see. Corey Stanton. And who gave Hill an extension? Oh, not an extension. They guaranteed his money. Greer. I disagreed with it. Listen, I disagreed with that, but most people, I'd like to see your proof of a tweet that you send back to me that says you agree with me. That's dated. I'd like to see that. See, that's the problem that I don't, because as much as I like Greer, McKenzie, and Allen, what did I say about X? Trade him, right? Again, these are islands that I was all by myself, pretty much. Like 97, 96% of the Dolphin Nation wanted to bring back X. And the same thing with Tyreek Hill. They were in love with the two 1,700-yard seasons. So I have a hard time hearing from some of you picking on Greer, which he deserves the blame for it. But I think there's a level of phoniness by a bunch of you out there. Just want you to know. Okay? Appreciate the super chat, but I think there's a level of phoniness from some of you out there on that one. Okay? All right. So if you want to say, hey, you know what? I screwed up. I wanted Tyreek back also, but I don't get paid like Greer does. Greer screwed up. You can phrase it like that. I respect that. Problem is, I don't think most of you actually had the balls to say, don't give Tyreek Hill the money. Let him go. I don't think most of you right after 10 interceptions had the balls to say, no, yeah, you're right, Odin. Right now, you got to trade X. So, and I like the front office. Doesn't mean I have to agree with them on everything. Right? So there you go. Just in case, yes, I defend the front office. You are correct. I do like the guys. But I don't agree on everything that they do, and I say it. Question is, how many of you out there are honest about it? Because what? There's a lot of people that are mighty quiet about the Tyreek Hill thing now. Meanwhile, I was a really bad guy during that moment. Next up, but I'm used to being the bad guy. Go ahead. Joe DeLeo, Eric Green, Jimmy Johnson, Ricky Williams, Chris Carter, Wildcat, Brandon Marshall, Mike Wallace, Sue, Tyreek Hill, etc. It's the same shit over and over. Gross incompetence. I'm fed up. What's the solution? Please give me hope. I go, there right now, dude, I can't give you any hope. I'd love to give you hope, my brother. Love to give you hope. But if you're telling me you're bringing back McDaniel next year, I got nothing for you. I got nothing for you. Anybody that tries to convince themselves that, oh, well, maybe next year he'll become a good, oh, come on, bro. Come on, man. You know, I need to see gradual improvement every year, and I haven't seen that at all. Next up, sir. It is Kevin Beal. Thank you, sir. Not even mad. My wife was like, why aren't you upset? The season was over after the Indy loss. Let's play the young players now. I feel bad for Calais. Yeah, I feel bad for us. If you could have gotten a 4th rounder or 5th rounder, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're wasting it on this coach? Why? Because he came to you and said, no, we can save this. Oh, screw you. You had your chance, dude. That was, again, I love the front office. Don't agree with that move. And I said it then. Did I not say it then, Sean? Did I not say trade Calais Campbell? Do you guys listen to the show? I said it. I disagreed with keeping him. The season was over. R&M Contractors and Custom Drywall. Man, Ray and Mike, they are absolutely phenomenal. A complete remodel, kitchen upgrade, even with appliances, folks. And a lot of you dealing with some condo issues. Well, maybe you need some waterproofing for your terrace and balcony and a flood test report. Well, in fact, everyone needs that in a condo. You should call R&M Contractors and Custom Drywall. You want to see their exceptional work? RMC Fisher Island is the Instagram. RMC Fisher Island, maintenance, floor restoration, drywall level 5 finish. Call Ray or Mike, 305-345-3649. That's 305-345-3649 for R&M Contractors and Custom Drywall. Next up, Sean. Man of 1,005 holds prayers to Grant Dubose. I've never seen an overrated team in my life. McDaniel doesn't like tall receivers. We need a few with good hands. Same-o. Hashtag same-o. Yeah. It's weird, right? Because throughout the history of time, watching the Dolphins in different eras, they usually had big targets. Everybody would want a big target or two on their team. Oh, we traded one, right? I don't know, he plays for the Bills. What was his name? Mac the Knife, was it? Because that's what it was in my heart. Mac Hollins, bro. That's where you throw that sideline throw right there, Mac Hollins. That sideline throw there, Oronde Gadsden. That sideline throw there, Jonnu Smith. That sideline throw there, Randy McMichael. I mean, I've been around. You have people, you have roles. And a lot of us were excited about Azukama because he brought that to the table. And we thought, okay, this is a guy that can help, big body. You got a short quarterback. You want to give them. Drew Brees had Marcus Colston working the slot for like 8 or 9 years straight. Okay? They got him from Hofstra. But it's a Hofstra. I think they got him from there or something. It's one of those schools there up in the Northeast. And they got him like in the 7th round or something like that. He's there forever. And he always gave him some big receivers because that's what you want to do for every quarterback. I don't even care if you're Marino. Every quarterback, you need some big targets, dude. You need to make life a little easier for them. Nope, not in this offense. No, it's all midgets all the time. Sometimes I'd like just a little jump ball. That's all. It's a real weapon. If you have somebody that can get up there, man, that thing is beautiful when you have that. All right, next up. What do we got, Mr. Sean Stanley? Toby Marmorino. It wasn't a jump ball. It was underthrown. If he throws it farther, it was a TD. That's the point, dude. That's the point. That's the point that you're not getting, Toby. You're asking the impossible to throw a perfect. And by the way, he had it, and they took it from him. Was it a little underthrown? Yeah. But that's kind of what a jump ball is. And then you've got to fight. And there was the fight, and you lost the fight. But you're doing it with a midget receiver. If you do it with a taller receiver, he high points the ball. Yes, sir.
There was a video on X that shows on that play also, just so if anybody wants to go and check it out. The safety is bearing toward the sideline in front of Hill. So if he was to lead Hill, it would have either been intercepted or it would have been another the Bose incident.
All right, next up. Cy love all. I've been over this team for a while, but again, this will go down as the greatest waste of talent ever. Yeah, this season, that's the part that is frustrating about this season is that you had an opportunity to actually have a pretty, not Super Bowl or anything, but you should have been in the playoffs. And you just have a crap coach that could not get the max for his players. So, yeah, that's I'm with you, Cy, on that. Go ahead. Next up. And the worst part is they're bringing him back. I don't get it. Leon Fresco, see you next year, Big O. So glad we signed Saran, missed tackle Neal as our special teams expert. Great backup receiver and lineman. Go Commanders. All right, Leon. We love you. Thank you, sir. Hey, don't forget, we love the super chats, but we only get 70% because stinking YouTube takes 30%. So we encourage you, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. Why? Because we get 100% of the donation. Better for the platform. Better for us to survive. So Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. And you can make a Bitcoin or Ethereum donation, which I go a little crazy with those. And, of course, you can make a donation through PayPal. Also use the QR codes there. And you can reach out through PayPal. All right. What else do we have here? Let me see what we got. John Nazaran on Venmo. Thank you, my friend. Liam Eichenberg equals Dallas Thomas. Look out. Dallas Thomas left here and actually played all right. I'd rather have Julian Hill at right guard. LOL. Almost. Fire Greer and McDaniel. John Nazaran again said, you made a good point about Odell being used in the slot. Same thing with Achane. Why is a tiny, speedy third down back running between the tackles on first and second down? McDaniel and Greer need to be fired. Well, that's not Greer got him another back in Jalen, and he refuses to use him. Greer got him a back in Chris Brooks, and he refuses to use him. Greer got him a tight end in Gesicki. He refuses to use him, but they'll use him in Cincinnati. And then he got him Jonnu Smith, and he refused to use him the first month. And then he started using him. So sometimes Greer does get him what he needs, but he doesn't really know how to use it or uses it at all. Sometimes the running game is working, and then he stops using it. There's so much inconsistencies to what Mike McDaniel does, it's just mind-boggling. It really is. It's one of those things that it's practically insulting. Okay? That's how dumb it is at times. Ocala Joe, thank you for the love on Cash App. Very kind of you. He says, oh, no, we suck again. Thank you, Ocala Joe. Appreciate you. Abel Rodriguez, thank you for the Cash App. Very kind, very kind, very kind. Since we get 100%, very kind. For Vrabel is off the table for the Finns. NFL knows him. And everybody you hear talking now, oh, well, Belichick's gone. Now Vrabel's which I would have picked Vrabel over Belichick every day of the week and twice on Sundays. But to know that Mike Vrabel is there and you're not going to get him, that hurts, bro, as a Dolphins fan. That bothers me. You know what I'm saying? I don't know as an owner how does Stephen Ross sell you that he's coming back with Mike McDaniel? Please tell me how he sells you that. George Gutierrez on PayPal. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, sir. Very kind. Appreciate you. Thank you. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo, and you can make a Bitcoin or Ethereum donation. Let me see the next super chat, my man. Stephen Roel, somewhere Greer's probably laughing and saying we are more worried about the O-line more than him and McDismal are. That's a line that has obviously hurt them big time. Now, I will say this. Brewer has been good overall as a center. If Patrick Paul turns the corner, you got your left tackle. Austin Jackson, since he left, that's when you stop running. Go look at the injury to Austin Jackson. You ran against Zona and Buffalo, and then after that, it died. And you lost Austin Jackson, and the running game completely died, which is kind of, funky, right? So that's good, at least, that you've got your future tackles and your center, okay? Now you've got to fix the guards, and that's why I think this draft will be about fat guys in the middle, offense and defense. They'll get a guy to help Sealer, and they'll get a guy to help the offensive line. The first and second round picks, something tells me it's a remake of the Fat Boys. I don't know how to do the I don't know how to do the beatbox thing or whatever. But if I could do a beatbox, I would do a beatbox right now. But they're coming back. The Fat Boys are coming back. Okay. The Undisciplines, right? What was the name of that movie? Undisciplines or something like that? Give me the next super chats.
It was Disorderlies.
Disorderlies. That's it. That's the one. That's the one. That movie actually had its moments. If I remember correctly, there were a couple of funny moments in that movie. Play action 7, Big O. What changes do you see next season? None. Since they're not going to make changes, okay, you hate Tua, they're bringing him back. You hate Greer, they're bringing him back. You hate McDaniel, they're bringing him back. If you're going to do that, then this is what I say you do next year, okay? McDaniel gets stripped of the play call. You give it to Frank Smith, okay? And let McDaniel be more of a head coach where he's working the relationships and things going on and working the game instead, and let Frank call a game. Whether he can do it or not, I have no idea. But I know that guy can't. He can't handle being a head coach and an offensive coordinator. So do that next year at least. That's my high point. Okay? Like, that's my best case scenario. So buckle up, get ready. If you expect anything else, if you expect them to blow out the front office, it ain't going to happen. You expect them to fire the coach, it ain't going to happen. You expect them to trade away the quarterback, it ain't going to happen. So if you're going to do that, then at least McDaniel, be mature enough and take a step back and elevate Frank Smith to be the play caller. That's the best I've got for you. That's the best I've got for you. I apologize, but that's the best I have for you. Okay? And a ton of you are going to say, well, that's not good enough. Well, I can't do anything about it. But from everything I hear, not a damn thing's going to change in that sense. So here's what I would do. And that's that. Edward Sarmiento. Thank you, sir, for the Venmo, Cash App, or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show, Cash App, or Venmo. And you can make a Bitcoin or Ethereum donation. When do team meetings start? At 25 minutes after the hour? Tua can't help himself from diving forward head first. He considers himself a Samoan warrior. It's in his DNA, IMO. What are your thoughts? If that's the case, do we continue to build around Tua? Well, Edward, I already talked about that. And like I just said earlier, the future is done with Tua. You have no future with Tua. You are now playing. All this is you lit the fuse, and it's just a fuse going like this, and eventually he'll knock himself out of a game because he's going to do it. And he lied to you about, oh, I put my team in a lurch. You're full of shit, dude. Look, so once he's in a game, he doesn't think like a normal person. He refuses to actually do common sense shit out there. So since he refuses to do common sense shit out there, this is what's going to end up happening, my friend. That's the sad part. So there is no future with Tua. Now, you have him on the short term, but next year, you have to get a defensive tackle, you've got to get a guard, and you've got to get a quarterback. You have to get a quarterback next year. And you have to have the best quarterback that you can possibly get in the NFL, because he's never going to learn. He proved that again today. So Tua proved to you that he is just a time bomb. And it's going to explode at one moment or another, because when he's on the field, he's blinded. He'll hold on to the ball like he did today, like he took that first sack at the beginning of the game. Like, throw the ball away, dude. I know you only lost a yard or two, but the point is, by holding on to the ball, you just saw your teammate, by holding on to the ball all the way to the sideline, blow out his shoulder. And you continue to do stupid shit. Why? Because you're playing hero ball. And then that's the other thing. Because this team is so bad, because this team has such little room for error, he blinds himself and he has to play like, oh my God, I have to make every play happen, instead of letting shit go. So now you've put him in a position where he doesn't know how to do that. He doesn't know how to turn that off either. He has no discipline in that sense, which opens himself up for turnovers. And that's where those turnovers come from. The hero ball bullshit, the forcing the plays, the forcing it to Tyreek. That's where it comes from. And that's on him. There's no future with the kid, and I love him. But the way he plays, he's going to knock himself out. You know? So just do me a favor, Tua. Just don't lie to people anymore, bro. That's all. That's all I'm asking. Stop being a liar. Okay? You're way above that. Okay? Admit it. You get blinded when you're on the field, and you do not take responsibility for your actions. Just say it that way. And then we can live with that, because at least you're being honest. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how you play. Once you take the field, you're not responsible for your actions. And you will do whatever crazy shit you think it takes to win the game, even if it puts your body at risk. So please don't tell me that you were worried about your team, or I don't even know if you're thinking of your family, or I don't know if you're thinking of the ownership group, or your front office, your teammates, or the fans. I'm not sure any of that shit goes through your mind. In fact, I'm pretty sure none of it goes through your mind. When you're on that field, you think you're in, you're in a battle. And you're blinded by everything. And all you're hearing is the battle on the field. And you've got to do whatever it is to live or die to cross that line. and you'll do whatever it takes. And because of that, you have ruined your future. You have no future. You're a time bomb. Tua the time bomb. That's how you play, dude. I love you, but you play like you play like, every play's your last play. You can't do that. So, next up. Corso Traven, fair enough. Oh, I'm disappointed. Thank you for the admission on Tua. He's good, but can't be trusted. Well, that's his fault. He's irresponsible, and he proves it over and over again. Thank you. Next up. The great fear. Oh, that's exactly it. It's not that Tua isn't talented. It's that he's stupid. I totally agree. He's not among the worst of our problems, but that stupidity is part of the problem. Yeah. And because he's in a situation that it's so bad and every little mistake is catastrophic and you're playing tight games and he feels like he has to put it on his shoulder, and you can't run the ball. All that kind of shit. You can't play great defense week in and week out. You don't have special teams that you can count on week in and week out. You don't have a coach that can get a play in on time every play. You just don't have the things you need. So then it forces you to become, forcing the issue. Can you send Chris Perkins a link? He must have erased it. He says, need new link, please. That means he erased the old one I sent him. Sean, do me a favor. Give me a 30-second commercial here. I got to turn on the AC, bro. It's getting hot. What's his name that married Ashanti? It's getting hot in here. What's his name, man? Damn it. Nelly with that damn Band-Aid. I got to turn on the AC. It's getting hot in her.
It starts every morning before the sun comes up. Projects are laid out. Plans are made. Equipment is fueled and loaded with inventory to handle all service requests. Orders are given to an army of skilled landscape maintenance professionals, certified arbor trimmers, irrigation technicians, and licensed pest management experts who fan out to communities and businesses all over South Florida. Experienced, on time, and dependable. Our staff is fully trained, licensed, and insured. Contact us by phone, email, social media, or through our website to answer all your landscape questions. We are Cutter's Edge. Total Landscape Solutions.
Oh, I had no idea we were back. I'm looking down, I look up, it's kind of quiet. All right, thank you. Thank you. We're waiting Chris Perkins. He'll be the first one to join us on the Hit Squad. What do we have here on the Super Chats, just to make sure? Miami Kid J, Big O, how can you put up with this type of QB play? Dude, this QB play is way better than everything we've had since Marino. So, I'm fine with the QB play. Am I fine with some of his decisions? No. Do they have to go get somebody else? Yeah, they have to, unfortunately, because he's going to get injured. So you better have a great backup next year or a young buck that has the potential to start and is ready just in case he goes down. So, yes. But overall, he's a much better passer than everything we've had here forever. If there was better coaching and more structure, he would look even better. I get it, bro. 73.8% completion percentage and 17-4 going into the game is not good enough for you. I get it, but he's really not the issue. It's just a matter of knowing how to build a football team, and they don't build it the right way here, unfortunately. They don't build a power running team around this kid. And they don't have a really good coach, unfortunately. So he needs more support, and he doesn't get it from this team. Now, he's got to do his part. And today, he screwed up. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. All right, let's get to it. Let's get to our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins postgame report with the one and only Chris Perkins.
Time to go to the locker room, Miami Dolphins fans. Let's find out what's percolating with the one and only Chris Perkins in our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins post-game report.
All right, Perk. Well, at least I know David Furones won't be selling any hopium this week anymore on the post-game report.
No, I think the hopium is dead, man. It is dead.
I would hope.
Yeah. You know, Big O, it's right now the word for the season to me is disappointing. It might get worse. We'll see how they finish out these last 3 games. We'll see what happens. But disappointing, you know, you're 6-8. Now you're going to have 2 playoff appearances in 3 years with all the talent that you've accumulated. I mean, forget about winning a playoff game. You weren't even going to the playoffs this year. So disappointing is where the definition of this season starts. We'll see where it ends on January 6th.
You want what the Dolphins are? Okay, here we go. First interception, Tyreek runs the wrong route. He ran it too deep. He was supposed to run it more shallow. Boom, you got your interception. Second interception, Tua throws a completely terrible football. Total anticipation by the DB. Takes it away from him. Tua, by the way, also put Grant Dubose, that poor kid, in the hospital.
Yeah.
He Tanny-killed his ass, actually. That's a Tanny-kill special, right? By the way, for those of you that didn't live the Tanny-kill era. And then the third one, you're doing a fade with a Oompa Loompa. So you're asking the quarterback to be perfect, and you're asking the Oompa Loompa to overcome and all that. It's bad job by the head coach. So in 3 different ways, you have those turnovers. All 3 of them contributed to all 3 turnovers, but it kind of shows you the dysfunction of the offense at all levels.
Yeah, Big O, I've been saying this since December of 2022 that the Dolphins' biggest problem is their offense. And because at first you had an offense that was based on 2 things, right? Tyreek Hill and the threat of Tyreek Hill. Last year, the good teams figured that out. That's why the Dolphins went 1-6 last year against playoff teams and lost by an average score of 32-16. And look, Big O, when you look at how they've done against playoff teams, it's gotten worse each year. The first year, they're 2-6 and they lose by an average score of 29-24. Last year, 1-6, you lose by an average score of 32-16. And coming into this game, it was 0-4. It's now 0-5. The average score coming in was 29-14. So your offensive output each year against playoff teams has gone from 24 to 16 to 14. Your offense is your major problem.
Well, yeah. There's no doubt about it. And here's the thing, dude. No changes are going to be made. They're going to bring back the front office. They're going to bring back the head coach. The only thing that I've been saying, if this is what you're going to do, then you need to make Frank Smith your play caller at least and give him a chance to see if he can do it. So Mike McDaniel can just work on relationships and all that kind of stuff during the game, which, you know, he might be better off to be kind of a Pete Carroll type where you're working the relationships and the rah-rah stuff and all that and not be so worried about the game. But from everything I hear, there's going to be no changes. Everybody's signed through. The front office is signed through. The head coach is signed through. They just signed them all. Nobody's going anywhere. So if you're not going to do that, then make some changes in that sense because Mike McDaniel cannot handle both jobs as a head coach and the offensive coordinator.
I talked to Andy Reid and Zach Taylor at the NFL owners meetings about how you divide up those jobs. And both of them said you've got to have people that you trust during the week so that you can concentrate more on whatever you need to focus on, whether it's being a head coach or being the play caller. But it's very tough to do both of those jobs every day of the week, they said, because you're going to fall behind on one of them, either as the head coach or as the play caller. So you've got to designate duties. It's not a game day thing, they were saying. It's a midweek thing. And the Dolphins somehow, Big O, they've got to make some changes. And I wrote this last year that if McDaniel didn't win that Kansas City Chiefs game, the front office, whoever, Steve Ross, Tom Garfinkel, Chris Greer, needed to demand some concessions from Mike McDaniel that either you're going to get better at the run game or whatever. They need to do that again this year. That you've got to divide up the midweek duties, or you've got to get some interior line or some interior defensive line. Stop drafting speed. Get some bulk, get some toughness, get some aggression on this team. Big O, somehow change has to be forced upon Mike McDaniel, because 3 years into it, he's not willing to change a whole lot. He did tweak his offense, but that was out of necessity. That wasn't because he thought it would be better. It was just because everybody had shut down the passing game. But they've got to come up with better ways to approach these games, and then better performances in these games.
Well, the worst part is it's kind of you talked about it at the beginning. You kind of touched on what I'm about to say, but you've ruined the window. There's 1 year left of this window with these players. And then after that, cap hell is going to hit in the 25-26 season. So you're so screwed that you've got next year, but that's like the last of that window. And then after that, there's going to be a lot of breaking up that has to do. And you've kind of ruined everything, because that was going to be the run that you had, because now you have to pay the quarterback and everything kicks in. Dude, it just becomes much harder for you to compete at this point. That, by the way, just to kind of piggyback off of that, this draft might be the most important draft that they've ever had for that tenure right there. Why? Because this draft you're going to have to hit on a bunch of them, because you're going to have to turn over that roster the following season.
Yep. And you should get 2 third-round compensatory picks for Christian Wilkins and Rob Hunt. But, you're right, Big O. And look at the 30-somethings and how they performed, and think how many of those guys you're going to have to replace. You saw that Armstead and Kendall Lamb were out today. I wouldn't think Jordan Poyer's coming back. OBJ didn't make it. I wouldn't think that I'm leaving somebody else out. Marcus May didn't make it. Shaq Barrett didn't work out. Calais, he's welcome to come back, but if he wants to win a title, he's not coming back to the Dolphins, right?
The Barrett thing became a blessing, actually.
It did. It did. Except when you could,
they got a better play. So
you did, but the point is, you relied on a lot of 30-somethings, and you're going to have to fill a lot of those holes for next year, whether they worked out or not. You've got a lot of holes to fill just on the 30-somethings.
All right, so now we got to get brutal. Tua now has to understand that he's lying to people. Okay? Don't say that you can't say you felt bad about leaving your team on a lurch, and you still don't understand that you can't be diving. You can't be putting your body at risk. He still does not get it, that you cannot play the game
The run, yeah. I didn't have a problem with that. I thought he was smart in his approach on the interception return. Let Devon Achane run that dude down. You weren't going to catch him. Tua pulled up. He's got to play tough football at some point, Big O. I mean, you're missing your 2 offensive tackles. It's
he
tough.
can't play tough football. That's not who he is. He can't play tough football. In fact, the sack he took at the beginning of the game, that was stupid. His teammate blew out his shoulder doing the same shit, and he ran all the way out of bounds, which was 2 yards.
He should have got rid of that ball. Yeah, he should have got rid of that one.
You get rid of the ball, 1, because that way you avoid a sack, but 2, you avoid a possible collision and a.
Let me check, Chris. I don't know if we lost him.
Okay.
I'm going to go to break, and then I'll come back with him on there. Hopefully he's back.
Okay. All right.
I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Time to go to the locker room, Miami Dolphins fans. Let's find out what's percolating with the one and only Chris Perkins in our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins post-game report.
All right, Perkster. So, finishing up my question is, he has proven today, again, that he cannot be trusted. He gets blinded when he's on the field. He will not do what's right to protect his body. He will put his body in harm's way like he did a few times today, holding onto the ball in the back, running to the ends, running to the sideline, and then obviously the dive. If you're the Miami Dolphins, you either have to draft a kid that has starting ability, or you better get the best backup that exists in the NFL next year and overpay. But you better be prepared, because Tua Tagovailoa will go down to injury. It's the inevitable because of the way he plays.
I don't think that Tua plays reckless or careless. I didn't think he did today. I didn't think he did against Damar Hamlin going for that first down. But you are correct, and your point has good reason. He is going to go down at some point, whether it's him playing aggressively or just because, we've got to remember in the NFL, he hasn't just had the concussion. He had the ribs and the finger, right, and the hand. He's had other injuries. But look,
he raises his percentage of injury concern because of the way he plays. Okay, every quarterback's at risk, dude. Herbert gets injured all the time. Burrow gets injured more than Tua does, actually. So every quarterback's at risk because it's the stinking NFL, but he puts himself more at risk because of the way he plays.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with him today, Big O. I didn't. He doesn't play like Josh Allen, and obviously he's not built like Josh Allen. But I'm saying he doesn't run the ball aggressively, like Lamar Jackson to gain yards. Tua runs the ball because he has to run the ball, because that's the only way to get the first down. But yes, look, what I would do is get a veteran backup, right? A Tyrod Taylor, Joe Flacco, Andy Dalton, Teddy Bridgewater was the right idea. It didn't work out. But yes, I wouldn't draft a rookie, because look, if you're still trying to win the Super Bowl next year, Big O, I don't want a rookie. I know, Big O. I know. Big O, stop, Big O. Let me finish my sentence. If you're trying to go anywhere next year,
one playoff win. I just want one playoff.
I know. Let's start. I know we should start at the beginning. But
to age myself, we need one pin, Rodney.
That's right. I love that. Yes, I get that, Big O. I remember that Miller Lite commercials, baby. Yeah, you need a veteran quarterback. I'm not turning it over to an unproven rookie, no matter how much potential he has. Big O, I think last year was the best year for the Super Bowl window when you had Wilkins and all those other guys. You didn't take advantage, and yeah, I think next year is it. You might as well bring the band back, but just make some changes, demand changes, and yeah, like you say, and like I wrote, starting with the play calling. Make Mike. I'm not taking play calling from Mike McDaniel. That would just break his spirit. That it's what he does, Big O. It's what he does. But his approach has to be his midweek approach, not his game day approach. His midweek approach and preparation has to be different.
Yeah, but the result, it's 3 years in and the results are not good enough. That is the definition of insanity, is doing the same thing and expecting a different result at this point. We're 3 years in and we constantly see the screw ups from Mike McDaniel. It doesn't get any better.
It needed to change before this season. At this point, I mean, look again. I mean, if you get rid of McDaniel now, you're in so deep with Tua and this whole thing, Tyreek and Waddle. I could go this direction another year, but I need a fresher approach. You can't, as we saw, you can't go for this big play passing game. It gets shut down. That's why they're going with this dink and dunk offense right now. But one of the problems was with the construction of the team that you had nothing else to go to. Now, finally, you did discover Jonnu Smith this year. A year late, you should have had your receiving tight end last year. You should have upgraded the slot position last year. You should have upgraded running back last year, but we are where we are. Yeah, and so I'm not saying you have to start all. Now you're so deep into it, Big O, you might as well just double down for next year and see how it goes with the thinking we'll just take the broom to everything if it doesn't work. But again, even with coming back with the same people, take a different approach. Do things differently. You cannot do the same thing again next year.
How about a big receiver so you can, do the jump with big receivers, and it's like, it's crazy. Like a couple of weeks ago, we just watched him. He had no business to leave you. Mac Hollins could have been a number 3 receiver on any offense you ever ran because he would have served his purpose. He would have never broken your bank. He would have led your special teams, and he would have been happy being the number 3 receiver, and now you don't have him, and there he is. That's the guy I could have used that fade for, Mac Collins or an Oronde Gadsden or whatever in the history of time. This head coach refuses to add that element, which, by the way, would make the quarterback's life a little easier.
Yep. And look, Dubose was the only guy who had size on this roster. And now he's, sidelined. I'm not making light of that, but he was your big body receiver. And you don't have a big body receiver anymore. You tried with Chase Claypool last year. That was an absolute disaster. But yeah, these roles on the team that go unfilled, Big O, no power runner, no big receiver, no slot receiver. You just look and you go, what's going on here? How can nobody tell Mike McDaniel we need this element in the offense? It's like everybody is scared to tell Mike McDaniel the truth, or Mike McDaniel just ignores them. I think it's the former and not the latter, but something has got to change, Big O. You cannot do this for fourth straight.
Although I do feel they found their slot guy. I like Malik Washington.
Yeah, Malik is a tough kid. He's a good athletic player. Yeah. Yep.
I like him. I think he can definitely grow into that position, and you got yourself a tight end finally, but you still need to find a big wide receiver to add. If the Azukama thing didn't work out, okay, fine, but go find somebody that can add that dimension, overall. By the way, Eric at EJD Construction, if you're looking to remodel your home, custom home construction, major home remodeling, call EJD Construction, and Eric is the owner's cell number 305-433-4843. They are fully insured, liability and workers' comp, so make sure you call Eric, 305-433-4843. You got to start worrying about how you're gonna keep these guys kind of in check down the stretch, because it gets to a point where they start making business decisions on their own, especially some of those old guys you talked about that aren't going to come back.
Yep. And I'm starting, when we talk about that, I'm starting with Jordan Poyer and Javon Holland. If I'm Javon, they're not bringing me back. I don't want to get injured. I'm going to have to think about business decisions. And if I'm Jordan Poyer, what's it all about? I'm 33. This is probably my last year. I'm healthy right now. So there are going to be business decisions made, Big O. And you've got to, if you're Mike McDaniel or some of these other players, you've got to start thinking about that. And, is the guy next to me, is he really into this, or is he mentally checked out? And how do you approach it? How do you keep guys motivated? How do you keep guys focused? It's going to be tough.
Yeah, I can see the Patrick McMorris kid starting to get a little bit more playing time to see if he's got any skills. I already told David this last week. I would be moving on with Patrick Paul, and I would say, hey, Teron, we appreciate everything. Stay here, help us out, and finish the season, help coach these guys up. But season's over. We got to move on with Patrick Paul. He's the future. We tried it. We all that kind of good stuff. That's what I would do. I would start playing some of these young guys, because now you've got a few games and you can start to assess them and get them some experience too in the process.
Yeah, you've got to go to some, Kendall Lamb and Teron Armstead, you've got to have a talk with them and see, what did they want to do. Also, you want Teron to go out the right way, but you've got to look out for the organization also. Kendall Lamb, I don't know, what he would want to do. I know that at a certain point he said he was rethinking this being his final season. There's really, I don't think you would want to put Jackson Carman out there.
No, but he could be the swing guy next year, Kendall. You could bring him back up cheap. And then since Armstead's gone and Paul and Jackson start, Lamb could be your guy as a backup, and he's happy in that role. So if he wants to, that at least with Teron, what's coming. He's retiring, but he's been fantastic adding in the leadership side of it. So that's good too.
And we'll see what happens with Mike McDaniel and his friend Raheem Mostert in that sense. Do you give Jalen Wright more carries? That Raheem's not part of the future. So we'll see. Jeff Wilson, he was inactive today. Do you activate him, or there's some questions that you're going to want answered here. And here's the thing, Big O. With their last three opponents, you don't really have to worry about playoff integrity, right? You're not messing up the playoffs by playing your younger, people, because none of these teams are going to the playoffs, so you can really kind of look out for your own interest in these last three games, whatever that is.
Perk, in one of the breaks during the game, I went to my fridge, and in the milk carton, Jalen Wright's face was there.
That goes back with we just need one pin, Rodney. I don't know how many of these listeners know what that means, but he has been the missing guy, right? I mean, give this man some carries, right? Let's figure out what he can do. He looks like he can move the pile and run between the tackles and run with aggression. I know he had the fumble with Skylar Thompson, but he's a rookie. He's a rookie. He's got to learn, and so you need his skill set.
I'm not wishing anything on anybody, but I keep looking at Achane and I'm going, you guys are treating him like he's a 6'2", 220 back here.
I agree.
And overusing him. And then if he breaks down, and now now you're going to deal with the whole offseason and all that. Dude, there's Jalen Wright. What did they draft him for? To sit there and look pretty? Get that kid involved, man. I just don't understand.
Yeah, Achane took that big hit from Quinnen Williams last week, got twisted around, and I was like, wow. I mean, you should, this guy is, he's I think he's at maybe 1,400 yards from scrimmage, 1,100 yards from scrimmage. He's had an incredibly productive season, hasn't missed a game, even though he had that concussion. He's proven what he needs to prove. Now, you might want to tail off and start looking ahead to next year and preserving Achane so that he can have a healthy offseason.
All right, what do you got going on in the Sentinel so folks can check you out, my friend?
Well, we're going to look at the numbers, of the McDaniel Tua era and see, what these numbers look like, their record against good teams, and see how you progress going forward. So, it's going to be something that I think that it concludes you can't keep doing the same thing. So we'll see how that goes. By the way, Big O, let me say, give a shout out to Matt Cook He's a fan of yours. He works at the Marriott by the Westin here, and
Really?
by the Galleria. I'm sorry, by the Galleria here in Houston. And so he's a fan. I was eating there. Told the server why I'm in town. She said he's a big Dolphins fan. I said bring him out. We'll talk. And so we talked. And here's the funny thing, Big O. He goes, Chris Perkins. He goes, yes, I know you. You're on Big O and Alan Poupart's show. And I'm thinking, yeah, I also write for the Sun Sentinel. But anyway, there you go. There's the power of free media, baby.
Perk, that damn subscription wall. It doesn't let them get to know you, man.
Big O, I know. The paywall kicking my ass again.
Damn, paywall, what's going on?
But I appreciate the time here, Big O. It's making me famous, baby.
Always love. And Matt, thank you out there. Checking us out in Houston. Much love, my brother. Appreciate you. And apologies that our team continues to suck, my man. One year they'll figure it out. I've been saying it for decades, but one year they'll figure it out. I don't know why.
They will.
Gone by the time they do it. All right, follow him on Twitter at Chris Perk and catch his work. And you know, get through the paywall.
That's it. Deal. Give me some money, baby. Give us some money. That's it.
We need Perk stuff. Pay through the paywall. Come on. As always, thank you, my brother. Appreciate it.
All right, Big O.
You got it. There you go. EJDconstruction.com, Miami Dolphins postgame report.
You've been listening to the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins post-game report with the Sun Sentinel's Chris Perkins. For additions, home remodeling, and custom work, call Eric at 305-433-4843. EJDconstruction.com is the custom home builder and contractor you can trust. 305-433-4843.
All right. By the way, what are the scores around? And remember, you can make a donation, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. And you can make a Bitcoin or Ethereum donation. You can use those, those QR codes. And you can also make a donation through PayPal. We tell you that because we get 100% of the donation. Super chats, we appreciate it, but we only get 70. So that's why we mention it. Colts leading Broncos 13-7 at halftime. Bills are leading the Lions 21-14 with 12 seconds left in the second quarter. The Steelers are trailing the Eagles 17-10 with 1:17 left in the second. Steelers do have the ball at the 28-yard line, I believe, of the Eagles, so they are driving. Cardinals are leading the Patriots 13-3 at halftime, and the Chargers are leading the Buccaneers 17-13 at halftime. Tonight, it's Packers and Seahawks finals. The Chefs, they beat the Browns 21-7. The Bengals beat the Titans 37-27. The Commanders edge the Saints 20-19. They're 9-5. Ravens over the pathetic Giants 35-14. How about the Cowgirls? They got a win against the Panthers 30-14. The Jets, they beat the Jags 32-25. I fear that Jets game in New York for us Dolphin fans, by the way. And then, of course, our sorry team losing to the Texans 20-12. All right, what do you got there, Sean, on the super chat? Alberto Larios, thank you, sir, for the love. I believe that's in Mexico. Thank you. Very nice of you. The Great Fear again. You're a stud, dude. Thank you. Oh, well, stuck in the middle. At least we've got your show, Bitcoin and Concerts. Thank you for the show. Thank you, Great Fear. Appreciate you, my brother. And we are over 103,000. Dolphins let us down, but Bitcoin doesn't, man. Bitcoin is only on the rise. We keep waiting for the day that the Dolphins are on the rise. I don't know when the hell that's going to be. But damn, Bitcoin is definitely on the rise. Next up, Sean. It is a kickback. Wait, you still like Greer as a Dolphins? Yes, I do. I am still on the Greer, Allen, and McKenzie bandwagon. Yes, I am. I know I am pretty alone on that bandwagon right now.
I do, sir. Yes. Next up. Now, hey, listen, those of you that don't like him, I can argue the Tua thing. This one I can't. Because they're not getting it done, and they're the ones that hire the coach. And I didn't like Flo, and now I don't like this guy. So obviously they have not done a good job of hiring coaches. I did not like that they kept X. I did not like that they guaranteed Tyreek. I disagree with a couple things that they do. Okay? But I still think they're better than what we've had here for years and years and years. Our real problem is the head coach. Now it's become a bigger problem, and the whole window is closing and all that. God, this becomes just a real shit show now. Next up, it's so hard to get out of this. Alberto Larios again, he says, been a fan since 1966. Born in 66, fan since 72. Fed up, bring Mike Vrabel. I would agree with you, but it's not going to happen. Next up, give me one more. Kickback says, Heat have any bench guys that can catch footballs? I don't know, but I would like to try Bam Adebayo. Okay? He's good at catching. You're not asking him to shoot it, but he's good at catching. He can go up in the air and catch it. So that would be a good tight end to have for Tua. That would be a nice tight end with a lot of range. That would be good. Not as good as an Oompa Loompa. There's nothing better than throwing fades to an Oompa Loompa. All right, let's do it. David Furones is locked and loaded and ready to go with our Welt and Rheaume Miami Dolphins post-game report.
All rise, football fans, as the Welt and Rheaume Miami Dolphins report with David Furones is in session. Welt and Rheaume has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They are committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. Here's Miami Dolphins insider David Furones.
Yes, Mr. Furones, how are you doing, sir? Does he hear me? Can you hear me?
Hey, good. Do I have you?
Yes. Can you hear?
All right.
You hear?
I think I got you now. Okay. Yeah, I was hearing the intro. I was on a delay, but I think we're up to date, right?
Okay. All right.
I hear you.
Okay. All right. Any hopium? Hopium done? No more sales of hopium?
No. I told you before this game, hopium.
Are you done dealing?
Hopium was either living or dying by the result of this game.
Okay, so we're dead now with the hopium.
Yes, absolutely. Now is the time. Yeah, there was still some hopium when it was Buffalo, and then I felt like the season was on the verge of a turnaround of the likes of what we saw, just where they would stay alive for a little bit. I knew Green Bay they would lose. This game, I did predict a win, but obviously didn't feel great about it, but knew this was one where it could end right here, and sure enough, it did. You just can't win the way the Dolphins played. 4 turnovers, and defense did a good job putting the ball over that much and gifting a playoff caliber team in their house that much of an advantage.
So let me ask you something, because you look at the 3 interceptions, right? And the first one, clearly, McDaniel told us at halftime what happened, right? Looks like Tyreek was supposed to run a more shallow route, and he ran a deeper route, and he was supposed to be in front of the safety, not behind him. So there you got the interception. The second one was an absolutely terrible throw by Tua. Bad read, bad throw, all on him right there, 100%. And the third one, you call a fade with an Oompa Loompa, and so you're asking for everything to go perfect. So it's hard on Tua. It's hard on Tyreek. I blame the coach for, you had one in the corner of the end zone with the tight end, right? You used his length and his size for that. Why didn't you try to use, people with length and size for those kind of plays? And he doesn't. Over and over again, he puts midgets there. And by the way, rarely do the midgets ever succeed in those situations. Just so you'll know, if you could go back and check it out, I'm sure you could probably find out what the average is. So it shows you that all three people had to do something with those turnovers. The dysfunction on this offense, that it just, as your coworker says, it just doesn't work. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, as far as throwing, I'm never a fan of the fade to the smaller receiver. I do understand to an extent when it's not in the short part of the field, when you're not in the red zone and you're limited on space, because Tyreek Hill, with his speed, if he's breaking away, then you can get the ball out in front of him, and we've seen that work when he's got open field in front of him. But this was a case where the throw wasn't there, and then also Tyreek Hill, he had the ball get to his hand, so the ball got to him, and then Stingley, credit Stingley as well, he made a great play to strip it from him. So that guy's a stud, so give him the props that he deserves. A couple times in single coverage with Tyreek making a big play. One of those, though, was short field, red zone area, and one of those fades that you don't like. I'll have to watch the film again on those throws. But yeah, and then the first one, Tyreek Hill, obviously Tua was expecting him to run across the face of the safety. So he does that sometimes, is just throw it right at the safety, anticipating that's exactly where his receiver is going to be crossing in front of. So it didn't work out that way with the depth on Tyreek Hill's route. And then Tua tried to take some of the blame as well. But I think at the core of it, of course, if Tua's going a quarterback who puts the ball in a spot and not necessarily make sure that a guy's open and then uses his arm to hit him, then he needs, for that anticipation to work, he needs to know and trust that his receiver is going to be where he's supposed to be.
By the way, just for Z Harkness, just to give you a little warning ahead of time, I'm not big on spamming here. And when you make your point, you make your point. And you said trade Hill once. When you do it 40 times, you get blocked here, just so you'll know. Plus, usually the people that are doing that are usually putting up really stupid comments. And trade Hill is a really stupid comment because no one in the NFL is trading for Tyreek Hill. And the Dolphins cannot trade Tyreek Hill because the cap implications to trade Tyreek Hill would be catastrophic. The Dolphins are stuck with Tyreek Hill through next season. And then after next season, they will have a window to get out of it, my friend. So, Z Harkness, I just want to educate you on this. Let me educate you on this. It's impossible what you want to do, okay? Just in case. You want to follow up there? You want to agree or disagree with me on that one there, Mr. Furones, since you're on the beat?
No, you said it right there. Cap implications would not allow it to work. And then what team is taking on Tyreek Hill at that contract? And actually, frankly, right now, at a moment where he is on a decline, if we're going to be frank. And obviously, it's a high point that he's coming from 100 yards, but we're seeing the decline. And then as 30-year-old receivers who are dependent on speed get older, then they're not going to get any faster. So that
what's the best part? You know what's the best part about the Z Harkness type of people? He's the same butt wipe that was arguing with me last year when I said, do not guarantee Tyreek a penny. Let him go after this season. Move on. And Z Harkness is one of those kind of people that wanted Tyreek and now wants to trade him. You can't have it both ways, bro. Can't have it both ways. So that's the way it goes. Now,
do you have those receipts? Do you have those receipts on him?
On him?
He was talking that in the offseason. I do remember our shows all offseason. Yeah, you were on that boat.
Yeah. No, dude, I was on that boat almost by myself, pretty much. Really, who was out there? Who in the media said don't guarantee Tyreek Hill the money? I'm just wondering because I don't remember any of you guys doing it. Did anybody do it?
Yeah. I'm trying to. I mean, I remember our conversations to an extent. And you were definitely the captain of that ship.
Yeah, none of you, I've had you guys on. None of you ever told me, oh, no, don't guarantee. None of you agreed with me. Now, you might have left it open, like, oh, well, it could be good, it could be bad, or whatever. Oh, but nobody like me.
Based on off-the-field incidents, too, considering that.
Yeah, that's what I included all of that. Like, at one point, you have to
Right.
The tough part about that business is you got to learn when to get off the gravy train. And it might be at a moment where it looks really good, but that's kind of the idea. You got to get off before it gets bad. Once it gets bad, like it is now with Tyreek, you get the Z Harkness people chiming in like, oh, trade Tyreek. And it's like, dude, it's not that simple. Don't be dumb. It's just ridiculous. The Dolphins screwed up by agreeing to that deal, and now they're stuck like Chuck, dude. Not only are they stuck, Z Harkness, not only are they stuck with him, you'll back me up on this, they can get out of it after next season, and they still will take a cap hit the following year. Am I wrong here? Huh?
Yeah, I have to look up the numbers to recall specifically, but yeah, it's that kind of contract with the guarantees. Yeah, I know at least in the immediate future, it's catastrophic, really detrimental to even make any move, a cut or a trade. So you don't do that, and then it diminishes some as years go by. But this is what the Dolphins locked themselves into, and actually why I'm always answering your questions as to anything on Mike McDaniel's future, anything on anything else. It's that well, they committed to this core, so they decided they're running it out with this core, and then you kind of just have to run it till the wheels fall off, and then you go through a big rebuild after. But it's not going to lead them to the playoffs this year. They're hoping to commit or to compete for playoff runs every year with this core, and then it's already not happening in 2024, and they are stuck because they decided Tua, Jalen Waddle, Jalen Ramsey all get contract extensions. Mike McDaniel also got one on the coaching side. Tyreek Hill got a bunch of guarantees added to the years he already had. So you are running it back, and there's just no other way about it.
Yeah, that's why I told Perk, and I've told everybody now, my new thing is, okay, I know you're not firing anybody in the front office or the head coach, and you're bringing Tua back, okay? So all those people that are complaining about 1 or 2 or 3, whatever you want, that's not going to happen. Okay, if that's not going to happen, then I say you give Frank Smith, you're the people above. You tell Mike, hey, Mike, we tried this. You need to be a head coach, and Frank needs to be the offensive coordinator. He needs to be the play caller. You can't handle everything right now. That's proven for 3 straight years. That team is not organized. They're not prepared every week. That's just the way it is. Mike needs to take more off his plate, I think. That's the change I think you need to make. I know in a perfect world, I'd like Mike Vrabel here. In a perfect world, some people would like a new front office, a new head coach. In a perfect world, some people want a new quarterback, a new head coach, and a new front office. I don't know where people stand, but from everything I hear, they're all coming back. So the one change I would make, if you're going to bring everybody back, I'd like to give Frank Smith a shot at covering. I'd rather Mike McDaniel handle the personalities and the relationships in the game and communicate with offense and defense and all those kind of things. I think it might be better for him than having to worry about also what plays to call, what they're calling to counter and all that kind of shit, because he doesn't do a good job of it. So let Frank Smith do it, man. What the hell?
Yeah, I mean, well, it's like what coaches are supposed to do for their players. It's highlight their strengths and put them in positions to succeed. So I think Mike McDaniel could, to your point, do exactly that. For himself, is highlight what he does best, which is to go ahead and hone in on those relationships, on his communication, those aspects of coaching, being that player's coach, and he could do it from that head role. And then now, remember, he was a first.
Look at it like Pete Carroll
when he came in and took.
I look at it like Pete Carroll. You know how Pete Carroll is, and he's always gun ho, and he's got that great attitude and all that, and he's got his coordinators doing his thing. He's working with the players and if some guy had a bad moment, he's there to help him out. And then he's out, helping somebody congratulate them on a great moment, and he's handling what's going on. You know what I'm saying? For me, I think Mike McDaniel might actually fit that better. That's all.
Yeah, could be. And then see what you got in Frank Smith. See what kind of play caller he is. Now they come from the same mold. So how much of his philosophy in game offensively would derive from what he has worked with Mike McDaniel on, and his inspiration from Mike McDaniel. So maybe it would produce similar results, but you don't know until you find out and you actually put him in that position. So it could be beneficial to McDaniel. So that was a question that was around even last year when the team was finished 11-6. They had an 11-4 record, still had a shot at the number 1 seed with 2 weeks to go in the regular season, and then obviously fell all the way down to 6 and then lost the playoff game. But that was even a question back then when this team was at its highest of highs. So certainly now it should only resurface.
All right, so Tua takes a sack early in the game where he should have thrown the ball away, and he avoids the sack. It's only 2 yards, but you also could have taken a hit, and you got lucky that you got out of bounds just in time because your teammate got hurt on the same play early in the season, blew out his shoulder by doing the same thing, holding onto the ball all the way to the sideline, right? On that third down that he rolls out to the left, he has, I believe it's Tyreek that's open, and he has a bad throw to the left. It goes incomplete. He kills Grant Dubose. Okay. The interception, the second interception was on him. Okay, you can't blame him for the first one. That's on Tyreek. And the third one, I blame it on McD for asking for the impossible in that situation. But overall, not a good performance by Tua Tagovailoa. Your thoughts on how he played today?
No, certainly not. And
one more thing.
At the core of it is
diving and lying.
Of course.
And one more thing. Hey, one more thing. And lying to everybody about taking care of himself and putting his team and hanging him out to dry. He dove, which he put himself again at risk to get injured, which he still does not get it. But go ahead.
Now, all right, let's touch on that. The dive. This dive, within a yard of the first down marker, and actually he dove out in front of where the hits were coming from. So he took hits to the torso area, not the head. So actually, I think he kept his head safe by moving himself forward over beyond the defenders coming from side to side on him. So actually, in that regard, maybe kept himself a little bit safe. Now, the safest thing would be to slide, of course, because then
are you believing his incredible athleticism did that? Or was it just by chance that he dove and they ended up and he took some brutal shots to the side, dude? Brutal shots, which, by the way, he broke ribs last time he took a shot like that. Thanks to attack.
Yeah. So I was also concerned for his ribs because not only does he have a history of head injuries, but he has had injured ribs. So I was concerned when I saw how hard that hit came from the side and his torso. But certainly just to get on his overall performance, you can't go into the house of a playoff caliber team going on the road and expect to win by turning the ball over 4 times. And that's what Tua had on his plate. Yes, some of them a matter of a wide receiver, Tyreek Hill, not running the route to the right depth. Actually, Tyreek Hill was targeted on all 3 of his interceptions. He was down his 2 starting tackles. He's got a strip sack coming from his blind side where you have Jackson Carman, who hasn't started a game in the NFL since 2021, and he's been being asked to go out there and block an elite pass rusher from Will Anderson, who was the number 3 pick a couple of years ago in the draft. So you're setting yourself up for failure when you add up all those dynamics. So tough situation, but then Tua himself needed to be better dealing with all that adversity that was in front of him.
It was he didn't have a good game. I can't defend him on that. But I will say this has to be like a clear signal for the front office. They better have the best backup quarterback in the NFL next season. If it's a veteran, so be it. If it's a youngin, so be it. But you better have the best backup quarterback in the NFL next season, because you have a quarterback that eventually will get injured. 1, it's a dangerous game. But 2, he refuses to play safe. So if he refuses to play safe and he's going to hold on to the ball back there, or he's going to hold on to the ball all the way to the sideline, or he's going to be diving, then you've got a guy that's going to be injured anyway because he doesn't have the body to withstand that punishment. So how much is the importance on a backup quarterback next year?
extremely important. Now, I would say best backup quarterback available. If you're saying best backup quarterback overall, does that mean you're willing to trade major assets to a team that would hold on tightly to whoever that best backup quarterback is?
What, Papa? The season's over when he gets injured. I mean, how many? I mean, we've done this over and over again. How many more years do you want to do this? Shayna, they bought their tickets. They knew what they were getting into. I say, let them crash. You know what you were getting into. Now you know what you have. You have a psycho at quarterback. The kid goes psycho when he's on the field. He refuses to take care of himself. He gets blinded by it, and he thinks he has to do whatever it takes to win. And he thinks he's Ben Roethlisberger, Cam Newton, and Josh Allen all wrapped up into one. So because of that, yes, I am saying you need to go get yourself a quarterback that you can win games with. Not a guy that can keep you afloat. Not afloat. No, win a game. Not win practice. Win a game. That's what you need. And it can't be Allen Iverson. Okay? But you better go get yourself the best backup quarterback because you have the riskiest starting quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, I would say best backup quarterback available that is reasonably available. You go to great lengths, but not over the top. If a team is just holding on to one of the best backup quarterbacks, you can't look elsewhere. You need to be stronger at that position, and you also need a guy who can run this system smart enough to, and also the coaching needs to be more backup quarterback friendly, and so that you can come and simplify things for another quarterback that comes in whenever that situation does arise. So it's not so complicated for someone who comes in for a first game and is just doomed because it's just an impossible task with how complicated everything is, from getting the play call in with all the formations and motions, and then communicating it all, and then getting the timing right pre-snap, and then making sure everyone's aligned. It becomes a lot in this offense. So making sure it is friendly to whoever does go in, that it's doable for someone who just gets thrown in there, but then also someone who is up to the task of whatever they can handle that you can give them on a given Sunday.
By the way, Bitcoin is at 103,700, looking for a record, baby, here on a Sunday. Welton Realm, Jeff Welt, Daniel Realm, 954-966-4646. Personal injury, bankruptcy. Unfortunately, a lot of Americans are dealing with that. Get a little Bitcoin, 103-861. Homeowner property damage, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation. If you are dealing with any of these issues, please call Welton Realm. They will take care of you. If these insurance companies aren't living up to what they're supposed to do, they have their own adjusters. They will take on those insurance companies for you. 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646 for Welt and Realm. All right. So when you write up this story tomorrow, you're telling Dolphin fans what about this performance and what the team must do moving forward?
All right, so moving forward, you're talking big picture now beyond the season, correct? Because the season's over at this point. So, all right. So I got to finish my coverage of the game, and then I'm going to wrap my mind over how I'm playing everything else. But just over.
You know what's gone on for 3 years now. You see what the problems are. What does David Furones say that they need to do moving forward?
Yeah. So I already have the knowledge, or under the assumption, I shouldn't say the knowledge, that GM comes back and coach comes back, which I think will happen because I wouldn't make that drastic of a change until you kind of run the course. And then it's just, I would like to start brand new once you're sure over the course of like another shot with this core, and once you run it to the end, that then you just go new GM and new coach is how I would do it, is just to go overall a brand new start if it did come to that point. So with the assumption that, both are coming back, then some of the things we talked about. Mike McDaniel, what does he need to do to take something off his plate? Maybe it's the play calling. Maybe it's just letting himself be an overall overseer as a head coach and give Frank Smith that shot, which Smith could work for him if he's a guy who wants to be in those talks over head coaching vacancies as his name has circulated but never really risen to the level of serious contention for one of those jobs. Then you already know the core that you're running back with personnel-wise, and you're kind of strapped for cash. So, yes, backup quarterback will be a premium because you're going to run it back with a lot of this core. You're going to make small tweaks to the roster here and there. Obviously, like safety, you're going to revamp that part of the roster. You're maybe finding some tweaks on the offensive line, but we do know Chris Greer's previous takes on that front and Butch Berry's ability to develop when he's not given just the best line talent-wise. So then backup quarterback becomes a premium. You can't have another season go awry because Tua Tagovailoa gets injured. And reinforcing to Tua himself that he needs to protect himself, and I think it hit him. He revealed as much, how much he meant to the team and how he felt over not being available for such a key stretch where the Dolphins had very easily winnable games not go their way. So I think all those things come into play in what will be a very key offseason for this whole front office and Coach Mike McDaniel, because then if you start seeing, assuming that people are back, if you start seeing some of the same things again next season, then yes, it's big time hot seat time.
The good thing is, I think the people above know that Tua will not learn. So they're kind of faced with that. They're going to have to adjust to that reality. And that's an ugly reality because, you just mentioned that he talked about how he felt bad about missing. He's full of shit. The way he played today, he's full of shit. Diving head first, no quarter. Well, Marino doesn't dive head first. Montana doesn't dive head first. Reese doesn't dive first. Nobody does that shit. Nobody does that. That's for Josh Allen. That's for Cam Newton. That's for Lamar Jackson. That's for those freaks. Those freaks can do that kind of stuff. They're athletic. That's a huge problem for this team. That he does not know how to take care of himself. And he can't lie to people by saying, "Oh, I felt bad about missing it, and look how you died." Burke didn't have a problem with it. I don't either.
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt as far as just where his mind is at, and that play I was okay with. Yeah, I would have liked it if he went and initiated contact with one of the defenders going to the side and putting his head at risk, but he was splitting two guys trying to advance forward in an attempt for a first down when the hits were going to come from the side. So I thought, he actually avoided the hit to the head.
He doesn't have the body to take any hit. You're just thinking head hits. I'm thinking hits.
Yes, yeah.
He doesn't have a body. Oh, I got to tell you something. That hit was brutal, dude. Brutal he is a tough son of a bitch. Holy crap, that would have caved in my ribs. He has a rib protector, right? He must have a rib protector because wow, that's
not sure.
That was bad, dude. That was bad. He took a wicked hit, David. Wicked. I don't want to.
It was.
I don't want to see him take any hits with anything, man. I don't know, bro. I guess I grew up differently, man. I guess you have those kind of guys. Just get rid of it, bro. Just get rid of it, and I'm good. I don't know. It's crazy. All right, follow him on Twitter at David Ferris. Go ahead. Huh? What are you gonna say?
Oh no, I was just saying. I hear you.
Okay. All right.
Oh no, just agree with you. Yeah, I hear you on that.
Yeah, it's just I wish he would stay away from it. All right. Follow him on Twitter at David Furones _ and catch his exceptional work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. David, have a terrific night, my brother, and safe travels, my friend.
This has been another session of the Welton Rayom Miami Dolphins Report with David Furones. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
Bitcoin 104,343, bitch. 104,684, mofos. 104,705. Loving it. All right, what do we got here on Venmo? Peter German, Big O, it's been 2 years. I was saying McDaniel needs to give up play calling. I have never seen a man less willing to use talent. Stephen Ross has wasted his years in ownership by not willing to make changes necessary. Can't argue. Hateful Steve in the house again. Thank you, Hateful Steve. Let's not forget Tua had a fumble too. Yeah, but that wasn't on him, dude. You keep saying he needs all his support. That's fine. Take a pay cut so we can afford to buy you support. Actually, his money even hasn't kicked in yet. We can't pay Mahomes money for a guy who's more like Bob Greasy. Yeah, well, Mahomes has an offensive line. This guy doesn't. And this guy was playing with his third string tackle. And the third string tackle is the guy that got blown up, and that's why he fumbled, because he had a guy right on his ass right from the get-go. So, yeah, that happens. All right, what do we got there in the super chat, my man? Jamie Lobo, brother, it's little man syndrome with McDaniel. He's trying to prove little people like him can outsmart and outspeed other bigger and stronger people. It's obvious. So you're talking that because he has a Napoleon complex, so we've got Napoleons playing against the Giants. Okay. All right. Maybe they should sell Napoleon ice cream while they're at it. Next up. It is that gaming dude. Ooh, that gaming dude. Oh, if you were GM, what do you do this offseason to fix the team? I would get a guard. I would get a defensive tackle, and I would find the best backup quarterback in the world. Practically a starter if I can get one. That's what I would do, for sure. Okay? For sure. That's what I would do. Next up, it is Cy Laval. To be honest, whoever we draft will be a waste. They won't be used right and will be another talent wasted. Come on, 2026 and whoever we hire next. I'd love to tell Cy, no, you're wrong. That's the wrong attitude to have, Cy. But I understand it completely when you feel like that. You know? Completely. I understand it. Sucks, but I understand it. You know? Oh, man. Let's see. Who's next? It is Adolfo Foliaco. I don't think draft a QB is not the choice here. Our coach is not good on making talent better. Ask Skyler. He's right. Tua is the best QB on the Finns uniform. I became a fan of Sperano's team, so the list is small. I got you. It's just our team is in a really difficult position right now. And they have that one more year to kind of get through this whole mess. It's like everything about this just sucks, dude. Everything about this just sucks. That's the part that's a pain in the ass. How bad this whole thing is. You know? It frustrates me. It really does. Next up, Sean, what do we have? John Russell, question for Ross. What is the point of owning this team? Listen, those of you out there, it's frustrating because like I told you, it's hard for me to look and find a light at the end of the tunnel knowing that you're bringing back McDaniel. And some of you are down on the front office and the quarterback. So you're going to have a lot of depressed fans next year going into season. And I would imagine there's going to be a lot of season ticket holders that aren't going to renew their season tickets. You know what I'm saying? Next up. Aceman 2112 bought their tickets, let them crash. Airplane rules. Yes, sir. I mean, it's the only thing that I could come up with at that moment, right? So, next up. Okay, that's it. All right. All right. What else do we have here? Big O is blind. Tua is part of your problem. The team is never going to be perfect. Yeah, it doesn't have to be perfect, but does it have a good offensive line? No. Does it have a good coach? No. Does it have a defense right now? No. I don't know. What does it have, bro? It has midget receivers. They don't even provide the quarterback with a tall receiver. It took him 5 weeks to start using the tight end. He doesn't dedicate himself to the run. He doesn't even use Jalen Wright. So, you know what I mean? It gets old, the whole Tua thing, because you're constantly kind of repeating the same thing. So, Big O, as things stand today, are you still not a fan of Jim Harbaugh as a coach? I'm still not a fan of Jim Harbaugh as a coach. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Jim Harbaugh as a coach. So, we'll go on. Has it all played out yet? I haven't seen it all play out yet. Has it all played out? Has he been there for a few seasons to see what the results are? I'm not sure. You know what I mean? So let's let it play out. Just started, bro. Nothing's happened yet. Nothing's been won. Nothing's been lost. Haven't seen anything yet. So let's wait. Let's wait, right? Let's see what happens with time. A lot of people were like, oh, you're a bad guy for not wanting Whiteside to get paid. How'd that work out? Oh, how do you want to get rid of X? How'd that work out? So let's relax. Let's let it play out. Okay? Let's let it play out. And then we'll see. It's good. He's got a decent season so far going on, right? They're 8-5. Fantastic. Still not a Harbaugh guy. Let's see, what else do we have here? Did Ross state tonight that McDaniel was coming back? No. I'm just telling you that McDaniel's coming back. I'm telling you the front office is coming back. I'm telling you they're not making any changes. That's it. Everything I've heard, they're keeping everybody. And they're bringing everybody back, and they're going to try to correct stuff. And the problem is you start, put it this way, you start the offseason, well, Tua's got to take care of himself. Well, that's never going to happen. So your season's screwed already. Your season's screwed before it starts because your quarterback refuses to take care of himself. So we'll see, but they're bringing everybody back. They're committed to everybody. So next year will be played out one way or the other. And then if it ends up bad, then a lot of you will get your wishes. But you're going to have to deal with another season. Guaranteed, you're going to have to deal with another season. They're too fiscally committed to all these people. They cannot just dump these people. They all have new contracts. So just the way it goes. So if you don't like one or two or all three, too bad. Or four. If you don't like Ross either, too bad. Ross is coming back. Front office is coming back. Mike McDaniel's coming back. Tua's coming back. All four are coming back. So if you want any of them gone, you're not going to get your wish. I'm not a McDaniel fan. I would love to change McDaniel, and it's not going to happen. So I'm not going to sit here and start talking about, this GM or that coach or this owner or that quarterback, because none of it is going to change. So now prepare accordingly. Okay? The Stoyanovich kicks, hey, at least next week, the 40th anniversary celebration of Super Bowl against the Niners. I don't want that's a real celebration, isn't it? Oh, man. The Dolphins' job should be one of the most attractive in the NFL. No, it's not actually. Not anymore. Not with all the salary issues that they have now, because you screwed up this window, and now you have one more year left with these players. So, no, it's not actually. It's not nearly as sexy. But, again, John Russell, stop wasting your time. They're not going to bring in a coach or a GM or an owner. So, move on. That's it. Miko says, breaking news, the Dolphins suck. Okay. Crushing my dreams, Big O. I want McDaniel out, hoping for 2026. That's your hope now. It's not 2025, it's 2026. Sucks, but, or you hope that 2025 is the year of all years and McDaniel figures it out and whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's either or. McDaniel figures it out, or you get McDaniel out in 2026 and maybe other changes and all that kind of. Obviously, if they don't make it and they have issues, it's going to be pretty bad for a lot of people. So I can only tell you what I'm hearing. If you don't want to believe me, that's fine. That's fine. It's all good in the hood, as they say. But I appreciate it. What do we have here? Oh, I don't have any faith in the front office to build this roster correctly for the division they play in. Bringing all these guys back is a mistake. And a lot of people are going to feel exactly like you, Big D. Okay? I see the DMs and the texts and everything else, so I get it. All right, folks, we're out of here. We appreciate all of you out there. As always, thank you for keeping it locked here. Thank you for supporting the channel, as you always do. If you want to make a donation, you can make one. Cash App, Venmo, or PayPal. Use the QR codes. Visit our amazing sponsors, including our title sponsor, R&M Contractors and Custom Drywall, Miami Dolphins postgame show. Reach out to Ray and Mike at 305-345-3649. This week will be Thursday at Hialeah Park at 3 o'clock. And then, Friday we're in studio, actually. So we've only got one road show this week on Thursday. That's it. That is it. On behalf of the great Sean Stanley, we shall see you Monday morning, same time, same place, same bat channel.
You've been listening to our Dolphins post-game show with Big O. The broadcast is brought to you by Welton Rayom, Acura of Pembroke Pines, Hialeah Park Casino, RM Contractors, Toyota of Hollywood, Haineswear, Sloman's Home Security, BigCheeseMiami.com, EJD Construction. The broadcast is mastered by executive producer Sean Stanley. Thank you for supporting the platform and our fantastic sponsors. Go Fins!